Good morning, dear jury, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Laima and I'm from Knowlton, Latvia, the PR agency that was mainly responsible for Swedbank launch in Latvia and mainly in external audiences. And now a little bit about the company. So Hansabankas has been the leading bank in Latvia and also the reputation leader for the last 4 years. And in the beginning of 2008, the decision was made to migrate from Hansabankas to Swedbank to implement one brand strategy for whole banking group, and with a focus on being the service leader in Europe and also showing the long-term commitment to the Baltic markets. And the rebranding campaign consisted of two steps, two phases. The first one informative, when we announced the decision, and it was in May, and then there was actual brand name change, so from Hansabankas to Swedbank. And the biggest challenges, yes, Hansabankas has been known as a really strong and I would say also lovable brand, and it was a business and also brand success story. And that was actually the challenge, to stress that it is time for change. As Obama says, we need a change. And the other thing was also that it was minute plan, and that all the activities were really carefully aligned with marketing activities in all Baltic countries, because the rebranding was simultaneously in Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia. And this time also the confidentiality issue was very important because we couldn't allow that there is some information leak while we are planning the campaign, because it could cause some panic or I don't know, also some unwilling activities from the competitors. And also I have to mention really sophisticated environment also in financial markets. And probably we all remember September 15th. It was not just the day when we announced that Hansabankas will be Swedbank, but we remember that that was a day when the world was alarmed by the news of bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers. And of course, it is much more sophisticated and complex to implement such a campaign in such an environment. And shortly about the strategy. So the main milestones were to inform what is behind the change, also to explain that it is common for international organizations to act under one name and face in all markets. And Swedbank brand has already one brand strategy since 2006, because it was firstly introduced in Sweden, then it followed also Russia and Ukraine, and it was just a logical step to implement this also in Baltics, in Latvia. And also it was very important also to motivate and this long-term commitment to stay in Baltics, and as well as service leadership in Europe. And last not least, to turn employees into ambassadors of Swedbank. About main target audiences, it was mainly basically all stakeholders of the bank. And the main approach of all PR activities was to create festive and positive atmosphere. There is no place for grief, I don't know, or for some sadness. And so about the main messages, we wanted to stress not only the change, but also to communicate the strong commitment of become the leader of service in Europe. And of course, it's much more easier to reach this goal by a united brand in the whole banking group. So about the execution, there were, as I already told, it was two phases. The first one was in May, when actually also employees and all the publics got to know that about this decision. And so first of all, it was internal announcement for employees by CEO of Hansabankas at that time, and then also for external audiences, press release, email, also letter to opinion leaders, and it's followed by press brief with a video feed to Riga, and then the next day it was more also discussion about this, and we had a meeting with all managers of Swedbank, Hansabankas that time, and also media dinner inviting editors and just to discuss this decision with the board of the bank, and also online online conference for employees. About the second phase, it was in September. And the exact time was kept in secret till the last minute. We announced it in the morning of September 15th. The sequence was similar. The first was also for internal announcement for employees, then externally, and also for clients, and we had like handwritten letters to opinion leaders, and we had really thoroughly thought of all kind of small details just to communicate this bank's commitment of service leadership. And here you can see some festive atmosphere from the media event, champagne and orange color. This was also the case when we prepared research and we gathered data really thoroughly. And we had also researches about brand perception, databases, brand tracking, also personalized face-to-face interviews. And so to sum up the results, yes, as the brand tracking shows that 97% of respondents were aware of Swedbank brand, and if we compare the results starting from October, then we saw that each month the awareness increased, and that was also one of the main goals that we have reached, and now it's time to also work to build relationship and to build attitude. And also the publicity volume was the biggest, and also from the content analysis we saw that all the center messages were covered in media, and from the interviews with opinion leaders they also showed that the attitude was more positive than negative, and they admitted that Hansabankas brand was more lovable, but they understood the rationale behind the change, and that was important. Some photos and images, just some clippings to catch the motion, basketball play, and I also want to make advantage of this moment and to say thank you for the whole rebranding team of Swedbank, and big thanks to Ivars, Kristīna, Norma and Oksana, and my great colleagues who are sitting there, Ralfs, Jānis, Anete. So thank you, and thank you for attention, and now I'm ready for your questions.
Thank you. So we have 1 minute left for questions. Jury, please.
2 minutes.